Welcome to the Healing Pod. I'm Megan, a licensed clinical psychologist.
And I'm Jessica, a licensed clinical social worker, and this is our journey of navigating anxiety as we learn to take up space and create an environment where we feel that we can belong.
Join us together as we learn not just to survive, but to thrive in our anxious brains.
This podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional therapy or medical advice. If you are experiencing any mental health concerns, please seek support from a qualified mental health professional or healthcare provider. Remember, your mental health is important, and seeking personalized professional help is key to your well-being.
And welcome back. It's another fun week here. It is. We're having interesting times with people, having a lot of fun. So it kind of fits in with the theme we have today, which was the art of starting over and having do-overs, which is a fun one. What do you think about that, Jess?
Do-overs are my life. I mean, it can feel like restarting, but I'm starting to feel like, when all the bowling pins are set up, somebody is just constantly rolling the bowling ball at me and I have to stack them back up.
It's like as soon as things get set, something changes and you're like, all right, we're at it again. What are we doing here? And it just always does seem to be that way.
Absolutely.
You either roll with it or you don't. And it's hard sometimes, especially when you're the one looking at, do I actually leave this and start over?
Yeah. When I feel like when you get to a certain point too, maybe life is feeling like Groundhog Day is every day just a cycle.
Yeah.
Maybe it is time for a do-over.
Yes. And this can be simple things like completely redoing a profile, and for a dating profile, social media, it can be revamping your resume or your CV, or it can be, you know what? I'm not happy in this relationship and I need out. I'm not happy in this job and I need something completely different than what I've been doing for 10, 20 years. Like there's so many different levels of do-overs that are very needed in order to keep us actually progressing through life.
Yes, absolutely. But there also needs to be a balance. We need to recognize, is this an impulsive decision because you had a bad day? Or is it actually time for a change?
Maybe. I mean, there's been a lot of throwing around how we're all just gonna quit, open that ice cream shop finally, maybe join an OnlyFans and see if we can make our lives that way. Like there's a lot of I'm frustrated and tired with this aspect type, but then there's that, okay, when is it time to say this has run its course and it is an end and I'm ready to actually move on to something else? Like, am I frustrated with this thing and I just don't want to deal with this thing? Or is the entirety of it as a whole run its purpose and I need to move on to something else? I want to be there instead. I want to be doing something else instead.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's dipping your toe into the pool of a couple of other things. I mean, I love being a therapist, but I am tired of doing therapy all day, every day. So I started a secondary business that co-aligns with what I'm doing, but it's totally different.
And that's one of the fun things about why I went the direction I did with therapy in that, because you can do that. You can say, this type of therapy is great, but I also want to do a little bit of this and a little bit of this, or I want to pull back from this at this point and do this. Like right now, my therapy is still pretty well split between admin work, therapy work, and assessment work, and then pony work on the side. So I get a lot of those differences. But if it was just one thing, I'd get bored and I would want to change. I would want to add something different. I would want to shift my focus clientele or my focus range that I work with or something. Just anything to have that bit of a change. Anything to have some more entertainment.
Absolutely. Now, starting over. Do-overs, that's scary. You don't know what's to come. And what if it fails? What if I decide to start all over and it all fails?
And that is a legitimate fear. I mean, what if it fails? What if you really want to take up unicycle juggling and join a circus and it turns out you can't juggle? No amount of practice makes you able to juggle. You might fail at that. Okay. And then what? Then you're going to have to pick something else and you're going to do over your do over. Is that okay? Can you survive that? Can you do your do over in a way that lets you let go of something, experience this discomfort, experience something new, and know that if this doesn't work out, you're going to keep going and trying to build something else.
Yes. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable because that is the only way that you are going to be able to let go of what you knew to start
Mhm.
something new.
And getting used to discomfort and being uncomfortable and exploring the unknown helps you deal with your anxiety a lot because it's that first step towards the anxious thing instead of running away from it. It's saying, all right, well, this is not my safe zone. This is not the thing I've always done. Let's sit here for a minute and see what happens.
Yes. The only way you fail is if you quit.
Hmm. That is true. And even then, where are you going afterwards?
Yeah. Are you just going to sit and wallow? This didn't work out. I should have stayed. Can you go back?
Hmm. Can you? Can you do something different? Can you go back to your old job? Can you do your old job in a new position? Maybe.
Yeah.
Like I think the biggest start over I had was, I went to college down in DC and I stayed there for 10 years and I was working and I was working. I said, yeah, I have like one friend in the area and I'm working like 80 hours a week. I don't want to do this anymore. And so we picked up and we moved back here. We found jobs here and we found a life back up home where we had family and we had friends, we had people we knew, and it was great, but it was freaking terrifying. I had an established job. It was fine. I just worked too. I could have cut back how much I worked. I didn't know how to do that at the time, but I could have theoretically. But it just wasn't where I wanted to be.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I'm noticing too, like a major theme, is that societal pressure to move away. You're supposed to have it all together and figure it out and know what you're going to do by the time you hit adulthood.
Yeah, and I think it's almost like a romanticizing of the happily ever after idea. You know,
Mhm.
once you find the relationship, it's supposed to last until you both die, which is kind of morbid. Once you find the job, you're supposed to stay in that job until you retire and then die. Again, the morbidity here. Like once you find the happily ever after, it's supposed to be perfect and ever after, and that's not life.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, some things do have a time period and a season and a time when they fit you and they're great, and then they start to not fit you so well, and then it doesn't feel as good because you've grown and changed, or you just have different interests, or just isn't what you actually needed, and now you can realize that. And then how do you let go of what you've already done and always known, and how do you say goodbye to that?
Yeah. And that's
That
by
can be hard.
accepting the uncertainty. You don't know. You don't get a no, right? You don't
Mhm.
get a no
Yeah.
until it's done.
Yeah. So that's not a guarantee. It's not a, you will absolutely be happy and love this and forever. Again, we don't get that stasis. We don't get, once you have achieved happy, you stay happy. We're having a fun, crazy day here at work. You're going to have these ups and downs. It's going to not be perfect. You can't be afraid of it not being perfect. So, what are you going towards? What are you letting go of? Why are you letting go of this thing? Now, is it really toxic and horrible and you should never have worked there or you should never have dated them or whatever it is? Or is it just you're different now and that's not what you need? And there was good about it and you can value the good about it and let it end.
It is okay to outgrow your current situation. Growth means you are ever changing
Hmm.
and doing hopefully mostly positive, but it can also be negative.
Yeah.
But we get to that growth by recognizing those things and we continue to grow by making changes and stepping out of our comfort zone.
And it doesn't have to mean that the thing you're stepping away from was horrible. Like you can miss it, you can mourn it, you can talk about what was good about it and what you learned from it and what you're taking with you from that. and still need to not stay there and still need to not stay with that thing or that person or that job or that whatever.
Mhm.
Still need to be able to value who you are now.
Yes, exactly. I think this comes back to that I'm not broken, I'm building, right?
Mhm.
Like I didn't fail. I'm not starting all over. I'm building. I'm building something new. I'm building something bigger. Even a promotion can feel like a start over
Hmm.
because now you're back at the maybe not the bottom of the full totem pole, but you now within leadership are new into this and you are just learning. So that can feel like you are totally out of your depths in your comfort zone.
Absolutely. I constantly feel like that. And then it's all right, well, I'm out of my death and comfort zone. How do I learn this? How do I look up all the videos online to redo the website because it was slightly broken? So I had to fix it. Is
Like
it
when
pretty?
when somebody makes a complaint to your office manager and you're like, oh man, what's the owner gonna think? Oh wait,
Oh,
I'm the
wait.
owner.
Yeah, got a complaint today, people. I'm fine with that. But my office manager was very good. She's like, I'm going to bring this up to the owner. So she called me. She's like, so I'm like, oh, really? That's the complaint? Okay. It didn't even come from a client. It came from someone next to the client that just heard something and decided that they think that
They
it
were
should be better.
offended.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I'm glad I don't have to admit that this is my client because they didn't give me permission to talk to you. And also, okay, you're not a part of this. You don't need to be personally offended because you're not a part of this. Just go.
Right. Like
Yeah,
people. Growth. That person needs
growth.
growth.
We all do. We all need growth. And like going back to what you're saying, it's not failure you're building. Like
Mhm.
starting over, doing this do-over, you may jump ship to a new skill that you know nothing about, a new relationship that you have to start from the ground floor and actually get to know a person and learn how to talk. But you're not actually starting from zero. Hopefully, you have learned something in your life thus far, more than what you started with before. You have
Yes.
skills, you have connections, you have abilities. You can just Google more effectively, any of that stuff. And starting over has an advantage to when you started the first time.
Yes. And even when we don't want to admit it, we have made growth.
Hmm. They did they did a study in an art class once. So they took the class and they split it in two. And they took one side of the class, they said, all right, you are going to be graded on making the most perfect pot. Make the most perfect pot you can, figure it out, do everything you can to just throw a perfect pot. And then the other half of the group, they said, you are going to be graded on how many pots you make. Make as many pots as you can, throw as many, we have all the clay in the world, make as many as you can. And at the end of the class, the side that had to just make as many pots as they could did better than the side that only had to make a perfect pot. So starting over, doing the practice, doing something new, and something new, and something new, and something new, and something new, taught them more than just theorizing and trying to do one perfect thing and stick with that one thing.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
maybe you are a person that is comfortable just doing one thing and you've done your growth and your space grows with you and you're good with that. And maybe you're a person that needs to keep trying in order to get it right. Okay.
I'll get it right eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're not done yet, so we might as well keep trying.
So, how do we get started on deciding A, if a do over is the right step,
Hmm.
and how we get started in that do over?
And that's tricky. So I think what you were talking about before, the fear of it is what keeps many people from even considering it. So the first step is just that conversation, just that considering, just what if? What if we changed? One of the therapeutic techniques everyone loves to put in a book is that magic wand question. If we had a magic wand and we could fix all of your problems tomorrow, what would look different in your life? And just that if it was instantly fixed, what would actually be different in your life? And if you say that to yourself and it's like, well, I wouldn't have this partner or my job would be completely different or I would be doing this other thing I really want to do, might be time for a big do-over. Sometimes though, do-overs are also smaller. So we'll go back to that one too, where it's I've used the same resume for so many years and I need to update it and this is all outdated and old and just throw it out and rewrite it. If you're just editing over and over and over again, they do that with they do that with ChatGPT. It's like, here's a picture, give me the same exact picture. And after 100 iterations, the picture is not the same picture. It is very weird. It is very distorted. It is very strange. Doesn't match what it was originally. So if we throw it out and start over again, maybe it's closer to who you actually are than that new weird. I've edited this so many times that the formatting no longer works and the language is outdated and all of my data in here is outdated. Yeah. So I think doing that questioning of where would I be different and is this what it was originally supposed to be? Those are points I have in starting. Where else do you think you kind of notice when you need a do-over of something?
So I'm gonna start with, I'm sorry, friends, you're gonna hear my AC because I'm like roasting. I went without air as long as I could.
It's good. Yeah. Live, girl, live.
So I think for me, it's when I start to dread what it is that I'm doing on the daily.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I'm just feeling overwhelmed all of the time. And maybe I'm starting to question, am I even actually good at this? Do I even like what I'm doing? People are telling me I am. Like, I'm still showing up, but I don't like it anymore. And then I kind of take that step back and I'm like, this is why I'm overwhelmed. What do I actually want to be doing with this time? And why am I so frustrated during this time frame? Is there something else that I'm like in my brain telling myself I would rather be doing this? And if so, why am I not doing that?
Mm-hmm. And what would it look like to do that?
Yeah.
Would it be better to add it in so you keep some of the security and do what you're doing, where you just add on and focus on that, and then if it changes more, we can focus on it more? Would it be better to make a clean break and completely and utterly shove everything away and start over again? It depends so much on you as a person, it depends so much on your situation. I mean, there's so much fear of change because we don't have control, because it is unknown. We don't fear being annoyed and being, I don't like this that much. We don't fear what we tell ourselves we can handle because it's better than the big scary thing, but it might not be. What is the big scary thing? What's so scary about the big scary thing? Can we handle being scared?
Right. What I recommend is that everybody gets them a Megan. And when you're like, this sounds like a great fucking idea, you send a text message. And then that great idea just blows up and turns into this big thing. Or she's like, you're dumb. Get back to work. That's not going to work. And for disclosure's sake, she has never told me I'm dumb and that it's not going to work. But I can usually tell by her response if I'm being a little ridiculous and I just need to take a deep breath.
You can tell when I'm just like giving you nice snarky answers and when it's like, no, wait, this idea we can make work. So it's the professional therapeutic, all right, we would have to figure out this piece and this piece and this piece and this piece and those are all figure outable and okay, we'll schedule it for like a month and a half, 2 months out. We got this versus the okay, so your screen name is going to be always pick the bears, and my screen names is why are woods hard? And then we're gonna see how many people we can con into giving us money.
So my OnlyFans idea did not work, friends, but she is on board for the retreat. What if we create an OnlyFans while we're on retreat?
I'm good with that.
We're starting over. We're gonna have to give up our professional careers so that we can show our flowers on screen. However, it might make us more money.
It might. I mean, I do have a lot of masks. We might be able to make this work. I have a lot of fun, creative masks from some great artists that I love. So
I'm having to get some serious cover-up makeup for all these tattoos.
yes. Oh yeah. Oh, we got that. There's tutorials all over for that. But like if you could do that. So if you go back to kind of that magic wand question, like if we I tell everyone I regret not starting to wear a wig when I started to work in a small town because it would have made my life much easier. But if we get you a wig, if we get you a mask, if no one knew it was you, if no one knew your history, what would you want to start at doing?
What do you want to be now?
Yeah, if we give you a fake mustache so you can wander around all you want, if we give you, money to go back to school, if we accidentally broke the website because there was a security problem with one of the widgets and you just kind of turned it off and said, that can just go away, then that'll solve my problem. And the website went, yeah, I don't want to work anymore. Now you got to just do over your website. If we broke it and you have to start it over to fix it, would that actually be easier than trying to chug it along as is?
Are you telling me to give up my license?
No, no, your
Oh,
license is
okay.
very useful. Keep it in
Okay.
the background.
Crap. Okay.
However, we are going to do the retreats. We got this. We got this.
Yes. I think a piece that really stands out to me
Hmm.
is making sure that you are providing yourself with that self compassion. This is one thing that I
Mm.
personally am terrible at. I preach it like Sunday man preacher standing at a podium to every single one of my clients. But it is my biggest weakness because it's all I notice is what I didn't do right and why it's not going to work. And I can't hear it when other people are like, but you did so good at that. That part was a win. Keep
Hmm.
going. Do that again. And I'm like, no, I failed. I'm not getting any further. Right. So
Yeah.
reminding yourself to provide that self-compassion, acknowledge the wins, even if it is, I woke up today and put my pants on in the right direction.
Hmm. Hmm. And doing the tricks like talking to yourself as if you're that friend, talking in that third person. So going, all right, Jess, you got up today and you got pants on. You know what? That's better than a 3-year-old. You're doing better than a 3-year-old. Let's keep going here. Let's see if we can hit 12 by noon.
Funny they say that as I was standing in the parking lot at the daycare this morning, telling the boys, pull your arms into your shirt and turning them around.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Why do
But
we put
that's
our clothes on backwards every day?
one told ya, gotta make the deals with the pay folk. But yeah, like having these little bits and looking at each piece separately of, all right, this one's not moving today, but I did okay in this piece, and that's allowed. And I'm not doing okay in this piece, but I'm doing really good in this piece. And showing that, they kind of go up and down in separate sections, and that doesn't mean you failed. It means it's very complex, and we need to take that breath and reframe it and look at the whole of it. What are the ones that are struggling more? Is there a reason for that? What are the ones you're actually doing really good at? Can we use those skills somewhere else? Can we really build up on these ones that you are good at? How do we do that? How do we use self compassion to actually be good to yourself? Not to say, it's okay, sweetie, but also say, go to bed. You're tired and you're not going to do very well if you don't go to bed.
Yes. And create an action plan.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but for me, I see the big picture before I can see the tiny little steps. And that's the part that gets in my way. Like, I don't want to do all that. So my action plans always start with at the very top, I will write down what I want the end result to be. And for me, like, just kind of going back to the retreats, our do over that we talked about
Mhm.
today, right? Um, it's being able to go and provide healing and love and compassion and connection with my best freaking friends. Like,
Yeah,
we just get to
it's gonna be
go and
awesome.
spend time together and share the love that we carry with other people
Hmm.
in a different way than we do daily.
Hmm.
And then I'm able to take that and I'm like, okay, well, this is the starting point, right? Like, this is what my goal is. And then I found somebody that I'm connected with and that I have the ability to share what's on my mind. They can take those pieces and help me put them in order.
Hmm. And looking at the little pieces, like making them doable. Okay, so we want to do a retreat. So who are we going to focus on? We could do couples, we could do parent-child, we can do something like that, something to have that connection, that communication piece that we want to work with and we want to expand on people. All right, we need a location. We need a general how long, what's the structure of the retreat going to be? Then we need to fill in the pieces of that. How are we doing food for the retreat? What type of activities are we doing? Transportation. I can do all the little bitty details and figure them out. We just need to do it. And if I can do, we need this, 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 this. Hey, Jess, call this place and figure out those numbers. You can do that.
I'm good at the connection piece. I will network until I am blue in the face.
Mm-hmm,
Just don't make me like sit down and analyze shit. Like it's not gonna happen. We'll fail.
Nah. And that's why we work really well together.
If I'm to organize, we're screwed.
I got that part. I'll get the workbook. We'll get it all done. But like breaking it up into those pieces and then delegating it and then figuring out what do we already have? What are we already good at? And what do we need to start over with again? What is a good idea of, all right, well, I know how to do this piece, so let's take this piece and we'll plug it in here. But you know what? This needs to be brand new. Let's completely wipe out everything we've done and work from scratch and build this specific to this new thing we're doing.
Yes.
And using our strengths and using our abilities to do that and not just being terrified of, oh my gosh, it's different and it's new. It is. And also, we have skills, we have experience, we have the ability to do the steps to get there. We can do that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And you can connect, you can have community, we can ask for support. That is such a superpower, having that social, I need someone that does this. Let me go talk to people and find who does this and how they can help us. That is huge. That is so huge.
And maybe you're thinking, you know what? You two have a healing pod. You figure this out because you have somebody to turn to. I don't have anybody. I'm all alone. The internet is a scary and glorious thing all at the same time. There are 15 different Facebook groups right now that you could walk into and say, this is my idea. I need support. Is this a bad idea? And you're probably going to get some ugly comments. But you know what? Throughout that, you'll probably get a whole bunch of comments and find somebody that shares a similar vision to you and that you can connect with. Yeah, I've made it a total freaking stranger. But sometimes that is how the very best connections are made. I mean, Megan and I would be internet strangers if it worked for a conference.
Exactly.
And a very pushy bridge.
Oh, sorry. It was so great. We love Veronica. But like I had a plane trip the other day and my connection flight, because of weather, I missed it. So it was a question of either stay in the airport, because with weather, they don't give you lodging, for an extra 24 hours and miss everything I had to do the next day, or make friends with two random strangers and drive home in the middle of the night. So I got two new friends.
I'm glad you didn't get murdered.
Me too. None of us murdered each other. I mean, I looked at the group and I figured it was just as likely I would murder them as they would murder me. So we went all in like, all right, we're just gonna completely trust each other with this because we all have a need and we all want to get home. And we all did. It was great. And just being able to reframe this completely stressful situation of we're stuck here, the airline, they finally gave me a refund. It was a whole $23. Yay.
What?
Yeah. It's lovely. So but trying to say, this is horrible. What can we do and how do we get out of this and how do we do something completely different to actually get what we need? Doing the same thing would have been, all right, fine, let me redo my entire schedule and I'm going to sleep on this chair and I'm going to, fly home the day later. Doing a typical me thing would have been, fine, I'm just going to go rent a car on my own and I'm going to be dead asleep and stop every half an hour to take a nap and it's going to make me miserable. Or I made two friends that made the 6-hour drive so much easier and better for all of us. So much so.
Wait, how did your mom get home?
Oh, she stayed longer and then flew home on a different day.
Oh, okay.
Because she was waiting for Dad to come home. Yeah.
Oh, so you just totally abandoned your mom.
I did. She had like 2 days where she was completely alone, and it was lovely because she wanted 2 quiet days. Yeah, so I went down to help my mom drive down to Florida again and just couldn't make it this time. But I pushed her out of her comfort zone, and the entire time we were there, we went exploring everything in the town that she hadn't been to explore yet. And then I left her there for 2 days alone and got myself stuck on the way home and had to drive home. But it was just that, let's do something different. Let's try something different and see if we like it. Let's go to a different place to eat and see, do we like this place? Do we like it more than the place or not more than our other places? Because you can, for little do-overs like that, for little new actions like that, if you don't like it, just go back to the other place. It's fine. But you want to explore. You want to fail. You want to know what doesn't work.
Only way to discover.
Hmm. Yeah. So you want to celebrate any little victory you get, and you want to say, wow, I learned a lot from that not working. Let's not do that thing again. Why not? Yeah.
Absolutely. And I am a journal person.
Mhm.
I journal everything. I've got a journal under my bed and 5 on my shelf and probably 10 more somewhere else. And I write down everything.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not like a dear diary, but I write down all of my thoughts and ideas and my failures and what worked and what didn't work. And that really helps me because then when I'm struggling, I'm able to
Mhm.
go back and look and say, okay, hey, I did this do over. And it was freaking awesome. When
Mhm.
COVID hit, I worked in a corporate office making almost 7 figures. And I worked 80 hours a week. I mean,
Mhm.
whatever, doing therapy for
Yeah,
80
yeah,
hours a week
that's what
is
we do.
totally fun.
Mhm.
Um, but then I literally went into work one day and they were like, here's a computer, here's a mouse, here's Zoom. So we need you to go home and start providing telehealth. Wait a minute, what?
Mhm.
I've never done this before, but I did
Mhm.
it. And that was a do over. And what I discovered was I failed at it. I went from being a therapist that people requested
Mhm.
to a therapist that people were like, this isn't for me. And I took it very personally. And it turned out that it wasn't because I was a crappy therapist. It's because telehealth just really wasn't my jam. I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about it. It was something new. I did not know how to connect with people over a screen. And
Mhm.
I mean, thankfully, it's been several years now and I've kind of figured it out. But I had to do a do over all over again because I was questioning, do I even want to be a therapist anymore? Because I
Yeah.
hate this. And if this is what our new world is, then I'm not doing it. I'm going to go find something else to do. And I did. I found equine therapy. I
Yeah.
found the Herd Institute. And that was stressful and scary. And I'm like, this is stupid. This is never going to work. Who's going to pay me to come play with horses? And I started an entire freaking business for it that I've been doing for 5 years now. So 6 years now. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Yes.
So sometimes do-overs fail, and that creates another do-over. And maybe that is going to be where you find where you belong because you did something that felt like a silly idea and it turned into a real thing.
Mhm. Silly ideas turn into real things all the time. And yes, sometimes they fail. Sometimes they fail because we're pretending to do a do-over, but we're really just trying to do the same exact thing in a different space, which is that's why your telehealth initially failed, because it is a different monster doing telehealth therapy than in-person therapy. There's just it just feels so different. So if you try to do in-person therapy over telehealth, you're not going to get the same sense. Like your body is not going to respond to the other person's body in the same way. It's going to be harder to feel some things. You're going to miss a lot of the signals you're used to getting, and it's just not going to work very well. But if you approach it as an entirely new monster, as an actual do-over, as something brand new you have to learn, then you can get the skills going. Just
Yes.
never with little kids in rocking chairs, please.
Oh my gosh, no. When I got trained in OCD and
Hmm.
my first clientele was little kids because nobody else wants to work with
Hmm.
kids, right? I was like, oh my God, I can't handle this. Sit still, kid. Where's your mom?
The walking around is better. It's the rocking chairs that got me. It's like, okay, I just need
You're
to
making me
minimize the
seasick. I'm
window.
going
I'm
to turn off
sorry.
your camera.
Yeah. It's like I want to be here and connect to you, but I'm gonna die. And that's actually where I started a lot of my yarn work, is if I sat there and stared at a computer screen all day long doing telehealth, I was getting migraines. I felt like garbage. And then by the end of the day, I am no good to a client because I'm like dying looking at the screen. So I figured out if I'm knitting, if I'm crocheting, I have this reason to look down and reset myself so much more. And it was something different. And it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another area that I'd really like to touch on is you kind of like
Hmm.
glossed over it in the beginning,
Hmm.
but starting over with a job is one thing. You're starting over with something new for you. Well, what about like starting over after a divorce? Starting over with having to share your kids, having a new house, and this all hits all at one time. The one person that
Hmm.
you thought you were going to spend your entire life with is now somebody you can't even stand to be in the same room with
Yeah.
your whole life. is now a do-over that you may or may not have had any choice in the fact.
Hmm. It's it's such a huge one, and one of the things that comes up a lot when you're working with couples and doing couples therapy is it's when they're done and they're still pretending they're not, or they're trying to push the other person to be done. Like hitting the point of we need to let this go is terrifying and so hard for anyone in a long-term relationship to do because of everything you said. It's not just, okay, this person that supported me, they're gone, which is a huge loss in and of itself. But if there's kids involved, if there's a house involved, if there's a pet involved, if you work in similar areas, if you're going to run into your ex at a conference or in the actual office building, which is why they frown on office romances because sometimes stuff doesn't work out. Like there's so much wrapped up in deciding to do a do-over with an important relationship. And then if you make that decision or if you don't have that choice anymore, if it's just, hey, here's a divorce, congratulations, start a do-over, you now have to face the grief, you have to face the loss, you have to face all of the terror that you didn't want to do this over. You wanted it to work out. You really just wanted it to be easy and work out and that love would just carry you through, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah. And I think that's a really hard one that people struggle to kind of wrap their brains around because
Mhm.
you're there, you're getting to do over whether you like it or not.
Right.
So, what is the best and most compassionate way to help yourself and there's children involved to help your children move through this? Because it's easy to latch onto the anger and the denial and maybe fight with the other person or try to beg them to stay. But what if you took the time to kind of lean into looking at it as maybe this is a way for me to claim my independence and look at how do I want to start over? What do I want my new life to look like?
Yeah.
And what is that?
Hmm. What was good about this relationship that I really want in my next one if I had one? And what, looking back on it now, do I realize wasn't good for either of us that we really should have addressed before, or we really should have stayed away from, or we really should have ended this before? And now I know, and now I can see it. And again, you can start a divorce and you can start a separation like that exactly the same way that you ended the relationship. You're already mad at them, you're already hurt, they already drag you through. You can just keep the same fights going. You can, oh, she always does this to me. Oh, he's doing this again. This is as manipulative as he was. You can do the same thing. That's pretty miserable and it drags you in front of people like us a lot because then you need mediation and you need therapy and your kids need therapy and it just gets very messy. Or you can take that step back and say, all right, that ended. I didn't want it to. Nobody wants it to. Nobody wants anything other than the happily ever after. But it did end. What did I learn? What am I taking? What step do I need next? How do I get out of this and have a life again?
Don't throw away the whole book. Just turn the page
No.
and start a new chapter.
Yeah. It's it's okay to keep writing in a journal when you have a different idea at the end of the journal than when you started.
I don't
It
believe
is.
that fact. So I've got 20 journals that all
That's
probably have 5 pages.
yes. But
Don't
it
take
is
advice from me,
okay.
friends.
But do you take journal advice from her because she gets nice journals?
I do it for some pretty journals.
Yeah, they got to be pretty, they got to have a good feel. But it is okay to be a different person halfway through a story than you were at the beginning of your story. It is okay to say, wow, when I married someone at 19, it was, oh, I really wanted this and I wanted this and I wanted this. And I realized that I don't actually like any of that. And we didn't need to do that. And so I tried to turn that person into what I needed, but they couldn't do that because that's not who they are. And you're not who they needed. So it had to end so you could both be happy. And so your kids can have two happy, healthy parents who are going to go on in their lives and be happy and healthy. That is the ultimate goal. Does it happen all the time like that? No. But that is the goal.
And if your kid needs to go to therapy, don't fight back and forth and try to convince us who's the worst parent. Because I'm going to tell you, that therapist for that child, we're judging both of you.
Absolutely.
You're
Listen,
both causing the trauma.
there was a reason you two were together and thought each other were the bee's knees in the beginning of this all. there are some similarities there, and there are some things that worked out there, and you both need to grow and thrive separately now. And if you're fighting over who's the worst person, yes, yes, you both are.
Yeah.
Because we don't care about who's the worst person. We care about how your kid's doing, and who is doing everything that they need to be a good parent to that child. That's what we're caring about.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. That's all we really care about. We don't care about the drama. It's fun to listen to, but we don't care about it. Just care about how it affects your kid.
Yes. There are kids involved. Sorry, but they are number one. You get to pick what your do-over looks like, but they are drug along until they are old enough to choose their own do-over.
They are. And if their do-over is, I don't want to be around this parent because they make me feel this way all the time, you need another do-over. Because that happens.
Yeah, and it's not too late either. You can be
No,
the
never.
meanest, nastiest, ugliest parent in the world. But the fact is, if you recognize it and you're like, God, I don't want to be this person anymore, change it.
Yeah.
Freaking change it. These tiny little things can be changed, and they can make a huge world of difference.
Yeah.
For all of those around you. I'm like Italian or something.
I think maybe always. I mean, there are many people that struggle intensely to be a parent because of all of the stuff that goes into it and all the stuff going on in your life at that time and dealing with the relationships and all that. And at the end of it all, they make amazing grandparents because they actually learned. They actually start respecting their kids' boundaries. They actually said, hey, I did this wrong, so I'm going to take a step back and learn from what you're doing too. That happens a lot if you let it.
Yes.
If you don't and you double down on it and you don't do the do-over and you're like, nope, this was fine and the way I did was fine, I'm going to do this forever, they're probably not going to come over often, if at all.
You'll be sitting in my office. Megan will have your kid, and I'll be telling you, well, should have done it differently.
It's like you have so much time that your kids feel obligated to see you, and if you continue the guilt trips and the obligations, you can stretch that out. But isn't it better that they actually want to spend time with you and like who you are as a person, like the relationship you built with them? Actually look forward to call you when they have something fun and exciting to tell you about, call you when they're doing their own do-over.
Wait, that's better than once a year?
Yes, if you like your children, it's much better than once a year. Hopefully you like your children, so I know you like yours.
The kids were in the kitchen making fun of me this afternoon before coming to speak with you. And I was like, can't you guys just be like normal children or normal teenagers who don't like their parents? Like, don't annoy somebody else.
Nope. Nope, your kids like you. They like your friends. You're stuck.
Freaking bullies, man. They're freaking bullies.
Yeah.
So, my friends, what I would like you to do is embrace your do-overs. Not hide under the covers for a week. But if you do, that's okay. As long as you still get up and you continue on with your do-over.
And wash your sheets.
Wash your sheets.
It's going to smell to your head under the covers for a week.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's going to be scary. That does not mean it's bad. It could be amazing and scary. It could be empowering. It could show you, yeah, no, I did not want to do that at all. I am going back to doing this other thing because I realize now what I needed. Like, it could show you the piece that you're missing, even if it goes wrong. Scary's not bad. Doing it slowly is not bad. Being kind to yourself is definitely not bad.
Or why are you looking at me?
Gotta be kind to yourself.
I'm just going to assume it's because that's all that's on the camera right now.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, just give it a shot. If it's struggling and you're trying to fix it and it's just not fixing, you might need a do-over. You might need to start over, whatever it is. Because that might just be what it is, and what it is might not fit you anymore.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add to this, Jess?
I think that I would like to encourage people to do things a little bit differently than I usually do for our social media, because I'm still sucking at that.
We still love you.
I would like to start hashtag #DoOverDare, and I will post it on our page. And then hopefully when this drops, I will have some comments on there, and we can add to that, and people will want to go listen to us. but I want to hear what you guys are doing for your own do-overs. I want to see and be a support system and encourage you guys to follow through and cheer you on through those hard moments where it's hard to cheer yourself on.
All right. But because we are not hypocrites, what are we doing? What's our do-over?
We're going to get these freaking retreats going.
Okay. All right. So you have the grand idea. Get that out. I will start working on all the all the nitty ditty details of what pieces we need to do, and we'll start doing something with them. 'Cause you need something different, and I like adding fun into my life.
So be on the lookout for our retreats, friends, because you can come hang out with the Healing Pod and learn from our healing love.
Yeah, so you can come join us. You can come make fun of us. We take it. It's fine.
We
Might
fake
even
it,
swear.
we dish it, we give it back.
Absolutely.
Take it. It's all good.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us so much. If you found us once, you can find us again. We are the Healing Pod. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere at all that you can actually find your podcasts. And we do have social media, which will be more active this week. Not by me. I try really hard, but I'm very bad. Jess, where else can people find us?
That is my do-over promise.
Yes.
I'm going to try to get better. I'm not going to say I'm going to be better, but I'm just going to try to be about our social medias and become more active. And you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. They will all probably be the same posts. But come look for us.
That's right. They will change when you interact with us. So we're going to try to do things over. What do you actually want to start from scratch that is different from what you've done before? Doesn't matter if it's a new coffee shop, a new recipe, a new boyfriend, a new girlfriend, a new both friends. Who cares? New job, new whatever. We want to hear about it. We want to hear the good and bad, how it goes, what you need more of, what you don't. All right? We will be back, folks. Thank you again, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.